The worst moments in U.S. baseball. Baseball has sincerely had a few excellent moments all through its records. However, the awful reminiscences will all the time hang out the sport and sting the fanatics hard. As an awful lot as we reminisce about the best days, we usually discover a manner to nonetheless communicate approximately the awful. These moments rank some of the worst for a reason, and for this reason need to be spoken of as such. Number 10. Juan Marichal vs. John Roseboro. On number 10, we have Juan Marichal vs. John Roseboro. As a way of clearing the benches is going, no expert incident showers such astounding dishonor and brutality on the game because of the infamous spat among John Jr. Roseboro and Juan Antonio Marichal Sanchez that came about on August 22, 1965. The contest continues to be remembered for arguably the ugliest second in MLB records. In the lowest of the 0.33 inning, Marichal infamously clubbed Dodgers catcher John Roseboro over the pinnacle with a bat, and motion in no way visible earlier than or once more on a Chief League area. Number 9. Frank McCourt's exit from the Dodgers. Frank McCourt bought the Dodgers in 2004, and the group executed pretty nicely at some point of his tenure as proprietor. However, he and his then-spouse Jamie selected to divorce in 2009, and that is while matters were getting ugly. An agreement was reached wherein Frank could probably hold the Dodgers. However, it hinged upon a TV deal that had to be authorized by way of MLB. After months of prison battles, McCourt bought the group to a possession organization headed using former Los Angeles Lakers super mega celebrity Magic Johnson for $2 billion. His very last years with the group were not the most disgraceful in baseball records. However, the sour divorce conflict turned into so public, and for this reason, spilled onto the area. Number 8. Pittsburgh drug trials. Next, we have the Pittsburgh drug trials. The Pittsburgh drug trials, as in advance mentioned, became now no longer simplest, targeted in Pittsburgh. However, all around many baseball cities, the town of Pittsburgh became a mecca of drug activity, and lots of gamers at the Pirates have been worried with inside the sale and distribution of cocaine. Players like Dave Parker, Lee Lacy, and Dale Berra have been a few terrific names amongst the ones known to a grand jury, and men like Tim Raines and Keith Hernandez additionally testified. The gamers mentioned how he used at some point of his time at the group. After they had to talk over with the supplier, they indexed him as a companion member who could tour with him on the street at times. 7 gamers have been suspended for a complete season in the long run, even though they have been allowed to play in the event that they donated an element in their profits to anti-drug causes. Number 7. Barry Bonds trial. On number 7, we have Barry Bonds trial. Controversy usually appears to observe Barry Bonds' round. In 2003, while the Bay Area Laboratory Cooperative became being investigated via way of means of the government, the power-hitting outfielder testified earlier than the grand jury and said that he did now no longer use the Enterprise or another to attempt to acquire steroids, nor did he without a doubt use steroids. Bonds' trial became set for March 2, 2009. However, not on time via way of means of appeals, after the decide excluded tablets checks and further proof that couldn't be especially tied to Bonds without the testimony of Greg Anderson, who speculated to have supplied steroids to Barry Bonds while he became Bonds' non-public teacher, and connected to Bay Area Laboratory Cooperative, Balco. Number 6. Pete Rose bets on himself. Rose performed for the Cincinnati Reds from 1963 to 1986, and at some point of that time, he collected greater hits than everybody else with inside the records of MLB for 256. Ty Cobb had the top hits for 57 years with 4,191. Rose retired from baseball in 1986 after being participant supervisor of the Cincinnati Reds for the years. Although his gambling days have been over, he endured on because the supervisor for the Reds. However, it became at some point of this time that he devoted the last stint. It got too mild in 1989 that Rose became beneath research for playing on baseball, to which he denied from the outset. He called the claims ridiculous, declaring that he favored betting on horse racing. However, he had in no way located bets on any sport. Later in 1989, the MLB's lawyer John Dowd found out that he had located proof of Rose making a bet on Cincinnati while he became a play supervisor and while he became simply the supervisor. Number 5. Miami Marlins fire sale 2012. It's becoming increasingly more clear that Marlins proprietor Jeffrey Loria does not care about fielding a triumphing group. Once more, the Marlins are at the lowest of the barrel and could be a group composed of and large of unknowns. This is going lower back to the concept that the Marlins are committing to a hearth place sale, while in reality, they have been buying and selling away a starter they have been now no longer making plans on re-signing. Sanchez, a mean or a touch higher second baseman, and a former franchise cornerstone who became going to be paid $38.5 million over the following plus seasons, with declining play from 2011 to 2012. This is going in opposition to the entirety baseball stands for. The factor is to prepare a group that could win and be successful. Now no longer simply take the luxury tax cash and use it for non-public gain. Number 4. Ty Cobb beats up a fan. What could a pejorative baseball listing be without Ty Cobb? He can be the finest participant ever. Hard to say. He nonetheless holds numerous hitting facts after an entire century, such as professional batting average and maximum professional batting titles. But Cobb became a monster. He had a notoriously vicious, intemperate disposition. He became extraordinarily racist as soon as slapping a black elevator operator for mouthing off to him or even stabbing a black constable who attempted to prevent him. On May 15, 1912, Ty Cobb beat up a New York fan, which could later result in the primary baseball players' strike and the use of replacement gamers. Then in August, the Tigers returned to New York to play the Highlanders and were pressured to put on Yankee pinstripe uniforms. Tickets to each ancient video game have recently surfaced. Number 3. Black Sox Scandal. If you're a baseball fan, you want no backstory to this. But for individuals who don't know, the 1919 World Series was played among the Chicago White Sox and the Cincinnati Reds. The Black Sox scandal became a Major League Baseball recreation-solving scandal wherein 8 individuals of the Chicago White Sox have been accused of throwing the 1919 World Series in opposition to the Cincinnati Reds in exchange for cash from a playing syndicate led via the means of Arnold Rothstein. Judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis became appointed to be the primary commissioner of baseball as a reaction to the incident. Number 2. Sandy Koufax throws his arm away. One of the saddest ends to what might have been universally regularly occurring is that the finest pitching profession in baseball records became the untimely retirement of Sandy Koufax because of excessive arthritis. He performed for 12 years, usually for the Brooklyn or Los Angeles Dodgers. After the one's 12 quick years, he had published 2,396 strikeouts and a professional ERA of simplest 2.76. Second lowest with inside the records of the live ball era. His first-class seasons have been 1965 and 1966. For numerous years, he began pitching complete 9 innings of recreation after recreation with a terrible ache in his left arm, focused on the elbow. The morning after such a video game, he whooped to locate his arm black and blue from shoulder to wrist from hemorrhaging. To address the ache, he started taking codeine each night, and from time to time at some point of recovery, butazolidine, and making use of capsaicin cream to his elbow. After every recreation, he needed to immerse his left arm in a bath of ice. At the cease of 1966, with a 1.73 ERA with inside the books, he had to name it quits. He couldn't sleep due to the ache and took into consideration having his arm amputated. Once he gave up pitching, however, his arm quickly healed. Number 1. Kennesaw Mountain Landis prevents integration. Though he denied it, MLB's first commissioner made an amazing attempt to keep baseball from being integrated. The most terrific example of his segregationist mindset happened in 1942, when famed Cleveland Browns and later Chicago White Sox proprietor Bill Veeck desired to shop for the Philadelphia Phillies. Landis passed away in 1944, and 3 years later, Jackie Robinson made his debut, putting the tone for the sports records up till today. Check out the video and subscribe to get more updates. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to stay updated.